Hello and welcome along to another episode of this FM19 story. The head coach with me, Daniel. It's season 13, episode 4, and today we're back with a crucial Champions League decider, which will probably determine whether we're playing in the Champions League or Europa League after Christmas in the new year. Both sides are missing a whole host of players, and it's the likely second and third place finishers playing off against each other to determine their positions. I know it's early in the group stage, and we could have shown you the monster side we were playing against, but that wouldn't have been as important, as this is the game that will decide our position. But in the meantime, we've been doing brilliantly domestically. It looks like we've started really well. Porto have had a shocking start to the year. They've lost to us as well as two other mid-table sides, and Benfica dropped their first points last week, which means we're the only side with a perfect record, alongside Braga, who weren't expected to be up there. So they're doing very well so far, but hopefully when we face them at the weekend, we'll be able to end their unbeaten record. But we're all focused on the Champions League game today, but before that I've got to introduce you to a few new signings. We talked about Hugo Viana at length in the last episode, our director of football, the former Newcastle player, who'd been having a bit of a tricky window, and on deadline day it looked like he was going to disappoint again. We got all the way to 8:30, played our evening kick-off game that day, and got to 10:30, and then Hugo Viana came to life. He went absolutely nuts. He brought in 3 players in the last hour and a half of the window, spending a combined £30 million. Fantastic work from him in positions we needed, and although we've lost a few players during the window, all of whom you know about already, he really has delivered at the final hour and done a brilliant job for us here. So let's go and have a look at the 3 new players. No others left the club since the last episode. We've got Christian De Campo. We mentioned him in a previous episode. Hugo Viana did try to sign him in July at some point, but he couldn't agree a contract with him, but he managed to do it at the final hour. And we've got a 22-year-old Argentinian midfielder, 3-star ability, 3.5 potential, natural in the 2 duties that we use on a regular basis, a deep line playmaker and a Mazzala, and he's done a decent job for us so far, just settling into a new country and trying to learn a new language. I'm really pleased with that signing though, and for £10 million it looks an absolute steal, coming over from Argentina from River Plate. Then at right back we signed Daniel Rodriguez. He came from Atlas, I'm not sure where they are, the Mexican First Division, for 4.8 million. A really solid player, nothing special at all, but we needed a right back. We only had Mateo. He's a natural right wing back, and we just needed a bit of depth there. So we've got a 2.5-star ability right back with 3-star potential, 1 cap for Mexico and a half decent pro. I'm not saying he's going to set the world alight, but it just gives us the cover we need in that position to make sure we're as strong as possible at the back. So I'm really pleased with that one too. And then the last one really surprised me. I'd never seen this lad mentioned or in a scout report at all, and then with 45 minutes left in the window, he suddenly turned up for £14 million. It was all done and dusted in 15 minutes. Ousmane Dembele, the Barcelona youngster in real life, an absolutely fantastic winger. He is the wrong side of 30 now, 33 years of age, but natural on the left and right wing, paying massive wages, 140 grand a week, on a 2-year deal which we won't get a return on. He's got over 140 caps for France, and although he is starting to decline physically, he's a fantastic winger on both sides, and we're delighted to have him at the club. He did score on his league debut, and he's got 2 assists in 3 games already, so it looks like he's going to deliver at this club and help us to glory this season. So all in all, Hugo Viana deserves a massive pat on the back, and we're very sorry for ever doubting him. Hopefully he'll do the same for us in January. He has spent the majority of the budget now though. If we go and have a look at what's remaining, we have got £35 million on the transfer budget, but he spent almost all of the wages on those 3, so it is going to be a bit tricky in January, but he might be able to squeeze one more deal out. Just very quickly, for those of you who noticed, I am aware I said season 14 at the start of the last episode. I'm sure 1 or 2 of you will have picked up on it, but I can assure you I'd noticed in the edit. I just didn't have a way to amend it last moment. If you look at the league form since you were last with me, everything's been going perfectly. Apart from that second leg against Victoria Pelsen, we've won every single game at the club, and we look completely comfortable in doing so. We've only conceded 2 goals in all competitions, 1 away from home against Celtic, and then 1 in our last league game too. So you were with me for that fantastic league win at home to Porto, which we thought was going to be an early title decider. As it turns out, Porto are having an awful season, and they're very much going to be the side to miss out this year. It looks like Benfica, Braga and us are going to be the 3 at the top. A long way to go, but the early signs suggest it, so we'll just wait and see if we're right come the end. But a 2-0 win at home to Celtic in the second leg of our Champions League game comfortably saw us through through to the knockout stages. Gerardo put the game beyond doubt after 5 minutes before a late own goal wrapped it up on the night. Then on transfer deadline day, another 2-0 win. Jose Antonio Sanchez came into the side. He got an early brilliant goal before getting injured, and then late on Schürrle got a second just to make things look a little more comfortable. And in our first League Cup game against the second tier side, we rotated as much as possible and Bernardo Souza got a brace, including a first half penalty, and then Wilson Cortes, the young centre half, managed to get a goal from a set piece. And in a run of 3 2-0 wins in a row started with our first Champions League game. At home to the Croatian side Rijeka, it was Hyo-sung with the opening goal and Schürrle late on. As Ronald tried to chip a penalty, he turned all Bernard Martin on us. Then at home in the league, we won 2-0 at home to Moreirense. Again, apologies if I've pronounced that wrong. Ousmane Dembele with a first goal at home, and then Gerardo got a second in quick succession to make sure we'd wrapped up the game by half time. Then away to Maritimo, Gerardo got an early goal again. It was a really tense affair, this one. Maritimo gave as good as they got, but Schürrle got an extra goal in stoppage time just to wrap up the game after we were controversially disallowed one just 3 or 4 minutes beforehand. And then in the last game before this episode, we did concede our first league goal of the season, but Bernardo Souza got a hat-trick and Hyo-sung scored 2. We were 3-0 up at half-time and the game was out of sight, so there was no need for us to worry when we conceded. We just made sure we got the job done. You can see our Champions League group, as well as Lyon and Rijeka, who we've already played. We've got Real Madrid as the impossible team. We're never going to get a result against them. Although having said that, Lyon won the Europa League last year, so they're no mugs either. The French League is one of the best in Europe in game. We've got a brilliant side in Lille who won the Champions League. Obviously we lost to them with Napoli. Lyon won the Europa League. PSG are still right up there, and Monaco are competing pretty well too. So 4 or 5 really good sides in France, and they've got one of the most competitive leagues in Europe. A far cry from their league in real life at the moment, so plenty of good signs from there. Maybe that'll be our next stop. If we can't get one of the other 3 big leagues after this season, we will just end the career, as I don't want to become a journeyman down the leagues when we've got a world-class reputation. But let's go and get into our Champions League game. You'll see a few of our new signings in action. Real Madrid got a narrow win in Croatia earlier today, so they've cemented their place at the top, and we've got to make sure we finish above the Croats if we're going to get at least Europa League football after winter. Like previous episodes, the squad pretty much picks itself. If we go back to the match preview, although we're very slight favourites, we've got Wilson Cortes unregistered just because we're lacking homegrown players. Matteo, the right back from previous episodes, he's out with a torn abdominal muscle and he'll be missing for a couple of months. Ryan Astley, the backup centre half, has got a twisted ankle, and Jose Antonio Sanchez, the backup midfielder's out with a pulled calf. So 4 players down, and it leaves us a bit threadbare. Dragan Tomic just coming back from injury too. He's not fit enough to get in the squad today. So we haven't got too many options, but it's a decent side nonetheless. We've got Fabrizio, the brilliant keeper, in goal. Rodriguez, the new signing, at right back, with Vernier at left back. Pacquiao and Michel in the middle. Then Schürrle and De Campo in central midfield. Cunha dropping out of the side from previous games. Then Dembele on the right and Ben Harush on the left. He's back from injury with Souza in behind Gerardo. And that looks a pretty ominous front four for any team in European football, let alone in the Portuguese league. So hopefully we'll do well against the Europa League winners, and to be able to put ourselves in pole position for second place in the group and Champions League knockout football. Let's get into the game and find out if we can produce the perfect away European performance. Okay, a pretty defensive formation for Lyon. They've still got the 2 strikers, which will cause us trouble, but everyone else is central midfield and behind, though I'm sure those wing-backs will get flying up the pitch. A pretty decent side nonetheless, and I'm sure they'll cause us trouble. There's a reason they won the Europa League last year, something we've only managed once in our career. We're going to tell the lads to pick up where they left off. We're starting to agree with our assistant manager a bit more. He's done a good job for us so far, and we're yet to lose a game, so there's no reason for us not to trust him. We are going to drop to a balanced mentality, as we often do away from home against big sides. That's just the way I play the game, normally positive at home or away against lower league sides, and then when we play against the big boys, we normally drop to balanced. In Europe, we've always got to be a bit more cautious, and hopefully it'll bode well for us today. Let's go and get into the first half, but we've got a tunnel interview to deal with first. They've very kindly told us that both teams are in good form, just like we couldn't work that one out anyway. We're missing Jose Antonio Sanchez. Of course course we're not going to say we're going to miss him hugely. We're not going to say it's a disaster and we can never win with the players left. We've got to show confidence and faith in the players we've got. We've got an experienced player missing for Lyon, but again they've got plenty of good players. We got off to a good start and we're on 3 points, and if we win this one today, we're in the ascendancy for qualification. A draw's not a disaster either, as long as we don't then lose the home one. We've got to beat the Croats away from home too, so it's not going to be the easiest of tasks. We've probably played the easiest group game already, and we only just snuck a 2-3-0 win. It's in immediately for Lyon. They've got a shot from the edge of the box. We almost got sidetracked there. We didn't expect to be under the pump so quickly, but a good save from Fabrizio, and now we can start to create our own attack. Ben Harush gets it on the left. He charges past 2 men. A good shot on goal. It's end-to-end stuff, but it's saved by the keeper down to his left for Lyon. 5 minutes gone. It remains goalless, but it's been a pretty good start to the game. It's Dembele on the right-hand side. We're looking to build again with the Campo. Souza shoots from 30 yards. I thought he was just going to lay it wide, but he tried to trick the keeper, and in the end it went comfortably wide of the post. 10 minutes gone, still no goals. A quarter of the game gone and we're back with Schürrle in midfield. He gets it wide to Rodriguez, the new right back, into Ben Harush at the back post. Another good header, but it's just at the keeper and it's very easy for him to hold. It's been an end-to-end game and lots of chances, but they're only very short highlights, nothing clear cut just yet. It's Albi in the centre-half position for Lyon. He's drifting in from midfield. He's just playing in that holding role and dictating the play as they put a long ball over the top there. The centre-forward and skipper gets in behind, but a shot straight at Fabrizio, who comfortably holds it first time. It's Vernier with a long throw in. Half an hour on the clock now. De Campo gets it to Vernier again. He gets it inside to Souza. Can we finally create a clear-cut chance? Schürrle shoots from just outside the box, and it was a decent effort and it had the keeper scrambling, but it's just wide of the post, and with 10 minutes to the break, it's still 0-0 here at Lyon. But Bernardo Souza with a free kick rifles it over the bar, and it doesn't look like either side are going to score, despite our dominance in this game. Bernardo Souza's getting free kicks galore, but unfortunately all of them are missing the target. Nearly at the break and it's still 0-0. A pretty good result on the night if we can get it. Bernardo Souza with a free kick from the left. This time a cross rather than a shot. Pakshaw wins a header at the back post, but he heads it wide of the post, and at half time it's 0-0, but we've certainly had the better of the game so far. All of the possession and most of the shots, but Lyon have been more clinical, forcing far more saves from Fabrizio. We're going to tell the lads to go out and do it for the fans, just as Severino recommends, and they haven't responded particularly well to that, so let's hope their performance doesn't reflect their reaction. It's Rodriguez at right back as we go from the kickoff. Out to Dembele on the right hand side, and he cuts it into Schürrle. We've still got some game changers on the bench, the likes of Rivera, the backup striker, and Ho Sung, who was our winger in the first few games, so we have got options to change the game, but we really want to get the lead early on and just try and make defensive subs to see out the game more comfortably. It's 5 minutes gone in the second half, and it remains 0-0 with no further chances. 10 minutes gone and now it's a free kick for Lyon, just over the bar onto the roof of the net. Fabrizio looked a little bit worried momentarily, but he didn't have to get across to it in the end. Anthony Vernier's got a booking and we've got a warning to stop him tackling. Hopefully he won't get himself sent off. We do have a good left back, but we'd rather not play with 10. Maybe we'll take him off as a precaution. Berger shoots from 30 yards. It's a brilliant goal from Lyon, and now we're going to have to come out a bit. We're going to demand more from the lads and go to positive mentality. In his second half we haven't really been at it, and Lyon have dominated the play. It's Michel at centre half with the ball from the short goal kick. Out to Rodriguez, the right back. Plenty of time to bring it forward with the Campo, but we're not really looking too urgently to get forward, and that's a bit of a concern at this stage, particularly as we trail 1-0. If we lose this game, then Lyon are favourites to get through, and after our first half performance it would be disappointing. Berger gets it wide to Miranda, and Vernier heads it away. It's only as far as Diakate though. Out to De Souza on the right for Lyon. He finds the centre forward who shoots over the bar, and we're going to have to think about subs in a moment. Just 20 minutes left and we've got to do something now. We're going to take Schürrle off. He's not had the best of games. Cunha will come on in central midfield and De Campo will switch to the Mazzala role, with Cunha going back to his preferred playmaker position. Ben Harush is just back from injury and he's struggling for fitness, so we're going to replace him with the right winger Ho Sung, and over to the left goes Dembele. He'll be an inside forward on attack. We want to try and get him in behind, just as we did last year to such great effect at Napoli when we had Ismail Assar on the left wing. We've got one more sub and we'll give it 5 minutes before we change the strikers and give Rivera a go. If we get to 80, we might even go 2 up front, just to try and chase the game and get a late equaliser. We're back with Gerardo on halfway. Can we create a chance from here? Falls to Bernardo Souza from the slide challenge, and he gets it wide to Hyo-sung. De Campo out to the right back Rodriguez. He tries to cross, but it's blocked back to midfield. Cunha to De Campo and back in midfield again. He finds Cunha, loses the challenge and is cleared long by Lyon. Now they can create a counter on the left. Frick, the centre forward for them, goes inside. Tonali gets it wide to De Souza on the right. We're a little bit exposed here at the back. Michel heads the ball away as far as Miranda, but the danger certainly hasn't passed yet. Tonali in midfield again to Newman. He finds Frick, and now Jovetic the striker. Brilliant save by Fabrizio, and it's behind for a corner kick to Lyon. We've really got some thinking to do here. 10 minutes to go and we're still struggling. Gerardo's going to be replaced by Rivera. We've got to chase the game now and we're going to go all out attack. It doesn't matter if we concede a second, as the Champions League isn't done on goal difference. Head-to-head record won't matter if we lose 1-0, as we're not the sort of side to win by 3 or 4 at home. 2 minutes left plus stoppage time. Let's see if the tactical change makes a difference. It's a long throw on the right. Rodriguez gets it into the box, headed away as far as De Campo. We're just going into 3 minutes of stoppage time as Vernier gets the ball at left back. Cunha finds De Souza and is cleared away again. Frick on the counter attack for Lyon. He's got 4 or 5 up within. Newman to De Souza on the right hand side. They've got 3 in the box. Hyo-sung heads away. We don't really want him back there in stoppage time. Newman gets it inside to Berger. He scored a screamer earlier on, and in a game that's been pretty even in truth, he's the man that's decided it with a world class finish. A corner to Lyon with 2 minutes of stoppage time to go, and the highlight ends as it's back at left back. Now Tonali gets it forward to De Souza. Vernier heads away, but only as far as the winger again, into the back post for Frick, but it's out for a goal kick. He's not going to get there, and I think that was probably the last action of the match. 10 seconds to go. We're never getting it forward this quick. Michel's going to knock it forward eventually, but a final whistle will surely go. Lyon nick a 1-0 win, courtesy of a brilliant finish. Berger scored the goal on the hour mark. He's a really good, world-class midfielder, and we can start to see why they won the Europa League. Not the best side, they didn't play brilliantly, but they're efficient and they know how to get the job done, and they look pretty solid at the back all game. We're going to sympathise with the lads because we played just as well as them, and we're not far away from competing with these sides. The lads have reacted well, they're all motivated or confident, and that bodes well for the weekend, where we've got to get back to winning ways in the league, playing at home to Braga, the only other side with a 100% record. So a disappointing night in Europe. Elsewhere, Borussia Dortmund won 9-1 at home. If only we could have opposition that easy, but unfortunately that comes with a coefficient, something we don't have here at Sporting. If we do have any worries about how we're getting on though, let's just have a look at Napoli. You can see they lost 2-0 against Vitesse in the Champions League, and if we go and have a look at their league form, they're down in 8th place at the moment. They're really struggling and having an awful season, despite having a pretty big and strong squad at the club. So that fills me with a little bit of pride, showing what a good job and how much we overperformed there. Their new striker's doing alright, to be fair. Is at the back they're really struggling. They sold Sapapat for over 50 million to Bayern Munich, and their replacements are nowhere near adequate. Marco Scotti, the young left back, is playing first choice in the Champions League. That's really scary. He was a 1-star player. I can see why they're starting to struggle. It's sad to see a club go that badly wrong in 1 year, but I couldn't say it wasn't coming, particularly with the financial difficulty they were in. But let's go and see what the media have said about the game. We rue our missed chances, as we did have the better of it, but we just weren't clinical enough in front of goal and were beaten by a world-class finish. Rivera's yet to score this season, something that concerns us, and when Gerardo has an off day like tonight, it's something we're not able to cope with, as no one else is scoring goals for us. We'll go and deal with the press conference off camera. We don't want to worry about that for now, but let's go and have a quick look at the schedule. We mentioned the big game coming up next month. If we can get through Braga unscathed at the weekend, the next big one in the league will be Benfica at home, the 10th of November before the international break. What a game it could be as well, as we try to get a lead in the title race early on in the season. We're doing really well against the lower league sides, and we don't look like we're going to be slipping up anytime soon, although we have got some of the bigger names traditionally coming up. Obviously Braga at the weekend, and the one before Benfica is Boa Vista. We might just have to rest everyone for the Real Madrid match and accept that we're going to lose it and play Europa League football. I want to succeed in as many trophies as possible, and the domestic ones are more realistic for Sporting. To be honest, if we went into the Europa League, I'd fancy our chances to compete in that. I know we've got a couple of weak spots in the team, but generally we can compete at the top level. But if you did enjoy this episode and that performance in the Champions League, please do put a thumbs up in the video. I know it's our first defeat of the season and in our short time at Sporting, but we really did put up a good display and it was just that clinical edge that cost us. A world-class finish we can't do much about and it's going to be tough to get through in the Champions League now. But domestically everything's going well and that's all we could hope for this season, to try and get the job done in 1 year and then move on to another big European league. Let me know in the comments what you think of Hugo Viana's signings. I'm really impressed with him in the end. He did come good and he found players in positions we needed, as well as adding a bit of goal dust in Dembele, someone we weren't expecting to see join the club. I would have been happy if he'd just signed the other two, so that was lovely to have an extra bit of goal dust, which will hopefully get us over the line in the league. Subscribe to the channel for daily FM19 content from my 2 long-term stories, this one The Head Coach, and then our One Club series with Torquay United, where we're trying to take them to the top of English and European football. There's also 3 episodes a week from my brand new Cricket 19 career, every Tuesday, Thursday and Saturday at midday. We also did a 10-part Ashes Test playthrough in that one, and a massive thank you to everyone that's followed along with both series. I really do appreciate the support with the new game on the channel. There's also weekly content from my Snooker 19 career every Friday at 4:30, but a massive thanks for watching this one and your continued support with the series and the channel overall. I really do appreciate it, and I hope to see you next time for a massive title decider as we play at home to last season's champions Benfica.